Year, everyone. I'm Roz from Redrow, and you're listening or watching to the New Homes podcast. January is such a key time for people looking to move home and one of the busiest times of year for show home tours. So with that in mind, I've got some very special guests here with me today. First off, we have Matt and Elliot, property experts and YouTube sensations. So they're going to be telling us all about what we should be looking out for when we're doing our show home visits, as well as some top tips and secrets to their success. And then our second Matt is property expert and estate agent, who's going to be able to tell us all his top tips and advice, as well as sharing some of the all-important questions we should be asking when visiting a show home. So, first up, Matt and Elliot, lovely to have you guys here today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Could you tell me a little bit about how you got into show home tours and why you enjoy doing them so much?
Well, we originally got into the show home tours because we were looking for our home ourselves. We were looking at new build homes down by where we live, and we'd already established a vlogging channel just going through our daily, weekly lives. So we thought we'd vlog a show home.
Take everyone on that journey with us, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it just kind of took off from there. We looked at a few developments, and then we looked at a Redrow one near us, and that ended up with over 100,000 views on one of the house types.
People just wanted more. So
yeah, your followers are very dedicated. There is lots of love on your channel, which is partly mainly from the Redrow office, but yeah.
Thank you very much. No, we do get a lot of love from the viewers that come and view our house tours.
So they very much kind of feed into what you'll then do next and kind of provide more of what they're asking for.
Yeah, I mean, we've had suggestions, and it's just really nice to be able to help people to find their home. It's such a nice feeling when they leave a comment and say how much we've helped.
Great. And Matt, can you tell me a little bit more about how you got into the industry and your role?
Yeah, I've been an estate agent for 17 years, so I've worked in some different markets. Started off as a junior negotiator for a firm, stayed with them for 5 years, and then set up my own in 2009. We do sales, lettings, and we have a big focus on land and also new homes. So very interesting to be on the podcast and to share my ideas.
Great. How have you seen kind of viewings and the way people are buying new homes change over the last 12 months?
So I think the last 2 years really has taught us that digital is probably the first place that people want to go to. Coming out of their homes, coming out of their comfort zones, it's quite hard to get them out sometimes. So good photos and floor plans used to be enough for people, but actually now it's more about the digital experience. So videos, content that Elliot and Matt are putting out there, virtual tours. I think those are a kind of a given now on most opportunities, although some people still aren't using them, which is bonkers really. But it gives buyers a bit more comfort before stepping over the threshold, and actually they feel probably they know a little bit more about the property before again they step across the threshold. So that's been one of the things I think that's come out of the situation we've been in. Definitely.
And I think from our perspective, in terms of using kind of the 360 videos and the kind of video appointment calls, they've become really popular.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, some people are traveling long distances, aren't they? So rather than them taking that time in the journey, they can almost have the experience that then commits them to it's worth going for it. And I think that's great because it's saving everyone's precious time as well.
Yeah, definitely. So have you guys seen any dramatic changes? Presumably views have gone through the roof during lockdown when people are obviously less inclined to travel and kind of visit for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, since we started doing the house tours, our views have skyrocketed, and there's just still a really big appetite for people to move, even over the past 2 years, and even relocate from different countries and relocating from the south because of working from home. It's enabled people to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not everyone's got the time to travel 3 hours out of their way to go and see a show home, and not every development has a show home of the home they're looking to buy. So being able to put as many out there as we can, people can actually see what their show home or what their home could look like without even having to leave that front door.
Yeah, really getting a kind of sense of it, isn't it? And it does help to get kind of under the skin of a home as well. I guess you can really envisage how you would live in that property and what you do with it, because it is very much that kind of blank canvas.
Yeah, we literally go through all the cupboards.
We do, a good old rummage.
I have seen you in cupboards.
We suss out all the storage.
Yeah.
We even look where the loft hatch is, or if it's got an outside tap or whatever it might be. We just look at the functionality.
It's all those little details, isn't it, though, that you really want to know, ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, it's hard not to be taken back by, because normally with a show home, it's designed impeccably.
Yeah,
everything is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, they really are.
We'll pass on our compliments to the interior team.
They really are. And it's hard sometimes to go in, and you've only got a short appointment to go into a show home and not be immediately taken back at it and not think about the little things.
The practicalities.
Yeah, things like where am I going to stick my bin? Where's my pet food going to go? Where's my shoe rack? Where all my shoes are going to go?
Yeah, or
anything like that.
Really. If you've got a young child, where does the buggy go? And
of course.
Those little things.
But back to the wow moments. What are those ones that really sort of set your world alight when you walk into a show home and you think, yes?
For me, I love looking at the kitchens and the open plan living, and for me, it's always I am a sucker for an island that's got a wine cooler in it.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've made it.
It is, isn't it? That is the hallmark.
I'm looking at one now. I mean, I think for me, the first room that you enter is the hallway. So to have a really impressive hallway that's got the space, like I said,
setting the tone, aren't you?
Yeah, that's sort of grand, got a nice staircase, and everything's really quality with Redrow. You immediately notice the high ceilings and the tall skirting boards. So yeah, for me, it's the hallway is the initial introduction to the home.
Great. And what do you see from sort of customers and potential buyers? What are the bits that really kind of wow them when they're coming into a show home?
I think, like Elliot was saying, it's a lot of the practical things, really. It's the, if they've got a wife and 2 kids, where will all those Christmas presents go eventually? And where is that space that mum or dad can go and shut off and work from home if needed? I think they do have to kind of take into those considerations into kind of part of their journey when they're looking to buy a property. The floor plans, as I said earlier, floor plans are great, but actually getting into a house, you can have a look in the room and think, that could be different. And that's something that you guys have done really well on your shows, that you have gone into a room and thought, this doesn't have to be bedroom 5, this can be walk-in wardrobe, dressing room, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, and I think one thing we've also noticed is that the main living room doesn't have to have a TV.
No.
Like a lot of people now are kind of living in the kitchen, dining, living area.
Very true.
So almost like the main living room is a bit like a snug. It can be a more cosy adult space where you can go and read a book, maybe go and play some games, and it just doesn't have to have that TV vibe going on.
And the conservatories are there now as well,
Yeah.
so that's another really good space, isn't it, to be able to utilise?
Absolutely, and we've seen some amazing conservatories. It is a Redrow extra, which we haven't seen offered in a few other developers that we've visited, and we think that if you can go that extra mile and have the conservatory, it does make all the difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And do you find that they'll go in a number of different homes and kind of pick out sort of the extras and build that sort of package to sort of suit their space?
Yeah, I think every buyer's got different kind of wants and needs, haven't they? So there'll be certain things that they will be really looking for. So it could be from the the USB plug points next to their beds as a kind of a simple one, but down to the kind of the nitty gritty about where that kind of TV connection's hidden into the wall. And it does look slick if you did have a TV up on the wall. Get these Samsung screens now where they look like a piece of art for most of the day and then flick over to a screen when you want them to be. So it's things like that. Underfloor heating. I mean, underfloor heating's brilliant because it frees up all your wall space. It means you can put a unit against any wall you want, and it's a very low, consistent temperature, which makes a massive difference. So come downstairs on a cold day, you don't know it's cold.
Yeah, that's a definite benefit, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of the interiors, because I know you guys are obviously moving to a new home at the moment, have you been taking some kind of tips and style advice from the homes that you've seen?
We have, to be fair. I mean, we've even modelled the downstairs of our house, what we're renovating, after the Harrogate show home, that lovely L shape.
Guys, you should have just bought the Harrogate. What are you thinking?
It's a really nice flow. It's a nice L-shaped design, and we just fell in love with it as soon as we walked into the Redrow show home. And we just
Great space for socialising, I presume.
Yeah, we just wanted to emulate that.
We did completely, and that's what we've gone for now. Can't wait.
So which of the Redrow collection, because I know you're still working your way through, which of the ones that you've seen so far is your favourite?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely that Harrogate with that L-shaped kitchen, dining, living. That, for me, is the dream. To put it.
Yeah, it's incredible because it's almost like the control station. You can sort of sit at the island or stand at the island and you can see into the dining room, you can see into the living room. For us, it's the perfect layout and the perfect combination. But if we could combine that with the upstairs of the Leamington lifestyle, that
interesting proposition.
But if you could somehow do that, and that's got an amazing ensuite in the bedroom with a really incredible rainfall shower.
Yeah.
And then every bedroom has its own ensuite in the lifestyle range as well. So there's no big family bathroom, which means the bedrooms can be a little bit bigger as well.
Yeah, because people are choosing to live a little bit differently. And I think nowadays, it's not just about how many bedrooms. We've talked about you can use different rooms for different things. So a lifestyle property is basically the size of a 4-bedroom house, but with 3 bedrooms all ensuite. And that can work so well for a lot of people. It's really flexible.
Okay, so guys, for all our listeners and viewers who are going out to look at show homes in the new year, what's the one piece of advice that we should be giving them in terms of keeping an open mind but really getting the most out of that visit?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think taking your time when you're actually on the appointment to take it in. Obviously, we talk about kind of digital experience beforehand, but you need to really kind of take in the area that you're looking at, the amenities, what's up the road, what's going to be available on the site itself. So kind of open space that the kids can go and play. It's all those kind of practical things, but you fall in love with the show home. You walk in there and you see everything that you kind of would love to have in your own home, but you need to start thinking about, have we got a shop nearby if we can't get out on the roads?
Good pub.
What the school pub, of course, pub. What schools? Tell my dad. what schools there are nearby? What the Ofsted ratings are? It's some of those bits that you obviously want to consider. And I think you can do a lot of that research before you go, but the sales teams at each of the sites will be able to give you some good advice on those parts, I'm sure, as well.
That's brilliant. And in terms of kind of any technical questions around sort of EPC ratings and all of that, I presume that's also a big part of what you should be doing in that show home visit to understand it's the right option for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the money saving that people will make over the course of the time that they've owned the property will be amazing as well, because just because of the efficiency of the builds, they're not going to find that heat's escaping. It's going to retain a lot of heat, and that's going to keep the bills down for people. So that's a real positive, I think, for anyone that's considering it. And again, sales teams will have all that information, even if it goes above your head. It'll just give you nuts and bolts on what it's going to save you probably over the course of a year or two.
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the sales teams that we've had contact with,
they've always been
they are
brilliant.
so knowledgeable. So don't be afraid to ask them and to pick up on the energy saving. We visited Nicol Hill and it was really cold, wasn't it?
It was dark,
1
it was
degree.
stormy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dedication to show home tours, guys.
It was an Oxford lifestyle, it had a conservatory, and we were expecting it maybe to be a little bit cold, but no, it was insulated so well. It was just really warm, wasn't it?
Yeah, you would not have known it was 1 degree outside. It was brilliant.
Okay, so back to our one tip. Hit me.
I would say don't try and buy a house around your existing furniture. Because you can always change, it's that excuse to go out shopping, but no, find the right layout for you.
Great.
My top tip is always going to be looking at the layout of these homes. Remember, a bedroom doesn't have to be a bedroom. It could always be a study, it could be a work from home office, a playroom, even a walk-in wardrobe, which is the absolute dream.
A room for your shoes or bags, whatever it might be.
I'm in heaven. I guess as well, it can change over time, can't it? So something that might suit you right now, you can then change at a later date, and as you say, having that flexibility.
Of course, I think people are trying to kind of find their forever home earlier, and a house that you can grow into is a must, which is why we really like the lifestyle properties.
That's interesting. Why do you think people are looking to buy that forever home sort of earlier nowadays?
I think it's just so expensive to move.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan.
Estate agents are expensive nowadays. That's probably part of it. But you are right. I mean, there's lots of fees, stamp duty and bits and pieces that you don't want to be doing every 2 years. So if you can stretch yourself almost, but get yourself your roots down and be there for a generation of children to come through, whatever it might be, it can really
Giving
make
yourself
a difference.
that space, isn't it?
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention, but of course you kind of look at the amenities and everything around there, but the finances, obviously jumping on the websites, Redrow have got it on theirs, we can just do a quick calculator, find out exactly what it's going to cost you, see if those costs are affordable. I know your sales team have advisors that can help with the actual nuts and bolts of the finances, and that I think will give people quite a lot of comfort. The rates are fantastic. They've been talking they were going to go up. Hopefully by the time this is released, they still haven't gone up. But even if they do go up, one thing to remember is they're going to go up to what they were before the first lockdown and COVID came. So they're still not going to be very high. It's affordable, and it's the time to stretch yourself. I think it's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
One other thing, people have also asked us on the channel to show them accessible housing. And we actually really did see a good example of that when we visited Allerton Gardens.
We did.
Because in the Blenheim, the doorways are really wide. So if you do have a wheelchair or a walking frame, it's perfect. And also the toilet could be, the downstairs water closet could be converted into a lift. It's designed to, that's what the sales advisor told us. So it was just really accessible. It can be a forever home.
It's future-proofed, isn't it? So no matter what happens in life, you're not going to have to move from that house if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. It was so great having you here today. Really, really useful. And I'm sure our listeners will find all the advice super helpful for when they're doing their show home tours in the new year. So for the next episode of the New Homes podcast, we're going to be focused on the build process of a new Redrow home. But in the meantime, please feel free to check out our social channels because we'll have lots of amazing giveaways to take part in. Thanks for joining us, and please like and subscribe.